What are you doing?
I'm trying to get it to bounce off you and hit Ron.
Ow.
It won't do it.
I'm in no danger whatsoever. Well, now that's gone. I hope you're happy.
Hey, welcome to iFanboy, the comic book discussion show. I'm Josh Flanagan, and this is...
I'm Ron Richards.
And I'm Connor Kilpatrick. I do the slow wave sometimes.
Right.
One of my bag of tricks. This week, Captain America is coming out.
Woo! I'm going to change my name to Steve Rogers.
You should. Captain America, the movie from Paramount Pictures and Marvel Studios, it is a long time coming for long Cap fans.
Hotly anticipated. It's been a summer of comic movies.
I'll be honest,
I'm exhausted.
There's a lot. Although not as bad as that one year when Batman came out, there's like 8 of them.
Yeah.
There's been all those really good Captain America movies so far, so the bar is really high.
The one with the helmet? Remember that one with the helmet?
The bike helmet and the clear shield.
Yeah.
Now, if you're a long-time Cap fan, you're probably excited because, like, for me, I love Cap, and I've been waiting for a Captain America movie. When I was a little kid, and that the Matt Salinger film with Ned Beatty.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
I actually saw a trailer for it in the theater.
Really?
It was a teaser. It just showed the shield spinning, and they talked about...
Oh, wow.
And then the shield was spinning. They were doing like a narration. It stopped. It was like Captain America Summer, and then it never came out.
Yeah.
So when I was like, 11 years old, and I was like, this is the greatest moment of my life. But so finally, there's a film coming out. It's a big budget Marvel Studios film, and it's in that world with Iron Man and Thor and the Avengers, and
He's the first Avenger.
And so we're going to get to the movie in a little bit, but we're going to talk about Cap, where he's at now. We did a Cap show a while back where we went through the character and the history and everything.
We talked a lot about Captain America with Civil War,
Yeah.
with all this stuff that's gone on, and
But we thought if you're getting back into Cap through the film or whatever, maybe it's a good time to figure out what's going on now. Plus, we're going to talk about some other kind of Cap. There's a bunch of little Caps running around. Little Caps running around. Hey, little Cap. So if you want to get back to the Cap comics, it's important to note that this month, in July, Steve Rogers has returned to the mantle of Captain America.
after dying and then coming back and being Super Soldier Captain Steve.
It's been a while.
Yeah.
It's been a while. Cap was killed in the Civil War, the aftermath of Civil War.
Yep.
Bucky, his old partner, was back, and he became Captain America. Bucky Cap.
One of the best stories, that Winter Soldier story that I've ever read.
Coming back story. Yeah.
Yeah. Not as Cap, though.
No.
No,
Yeah.
that's not what I meant.
That's what it sounds like.
I stopped. Anyway.
So Bucky's been running around as Cap with his metal arm and his gun and his shield and his black pants. And Steve Kemp comes back, as we knew he would.
Captain Steve?
Because he was not dead, so he became the top cop in the Marvel Universe. He wore
Became
this...
Fighting American.
He wore this crazy suit, this blue suit with a big star on it, which was
The
much
covert
like
suit, as Brubaker put it.
Yeah.
With the big white star that you could see a mile away.
unfortunate
It
design.
makes a nice T-shirt.
Yeah, it does.
And we call him Captain Steve, and he was the top cop in America. He ran all the Avengers teams, and eventually, as you knew it would, it came back to the point where Steve had to don the old costume again because the movie's out, and that's what they do.
That's what happens.
So the storyline came that Bucky was tried for his crimes in Russia because when he was Winter Soldier, and then there was no Captain America, and
Here we are.
You know?
And it begs the question because it's funny because through the years, Steve Rogers hasn't been the only Captain America.
no, there's been many of them.
Although
he was the first. No, he was the second if you
he's
count.
the second, yeah. He's technically the second. But it's safe to say, so he hasn't been the only Captain America, but it's safe to say that he is Captain America.
He is Captain America.
Right? Because every other
Captain America.
Yeah, because every other Captain America has been fleeting or crazy or temporary.
Or Bucky.
Or Bucky. It covers them all. But I was thinking about this recently. I just find it fascinating how Steve Rogers has to be Captain America.
He has to be.
For years, I always used to think of Captain America was just a suit. It wasn't the man in the suit. It was, totally. It was just like, and it happened to be Steve Rogers, and it would be fine when Bucky will take over because he's going to be the new Captain America. And I thought, okay, that's what the future's going to be.
The thing about it is that it's the timelessness of Steve Rogers because of the Super Soldier Serum, which luckily only the one guy got, the really good version of it anyway.
Good stuff.
Yeah, and so he gets to be Captain America in the 40s. And
Plus,
through
the
now,
mystique of the World War II and the fact that he did help defeat the Nazis is...
And that romanticism of that generation, those guys.
But then it's the point that in the 80s and 90s, he was Nomad, and he was the captain, and he's been other things.
I loved the captain suit.
Oh, I love Nomad.
Nomad
with the duster.
And no, he didn't have a duster when he was Nomad.
The new Nomad had the
No,
duster,
when he was Nomad, he wore the suit.
Oh, no, with the end belt buckle? Yeah.
And the big yellow boots, and the yellow hair flowing in the wind. Yeah. And then he was the captain, which was the black version.
I just thought that was the coolest looking thing when I was like 10. I was like, that's fantastic.
It's basically his suit, but black without the star.
Yeah,
it was... when he quit
Yep.
because the government was keeping him down.
Captain.
But you're right.
Shield.
Captain America is Steve Rogers. Steve Rogers is Captain America. It's like you can slap a Superman suit on somebody else and be like, "You're Superman now."
Right, yeah.
It's funny because in a way
Kind of
that
the Flash for some
that
reason.
constant their Superman is in the DC universe is what Steve Rogers is.
I think
in
they're the
Marvel
same
universe.
characters.
Yeah, which is
Despite the power set being completely different, I think
Great.
what they represent in their each respective universe, I think, is the same role. They play the same role.
But they both have that thing where, like, they won't be defeated, and none of the characters will ever be defeated. But
Right.
like,
Except
in
for
any
Hawkeye
given
when he went
yeah,
down in that ship.
not like that.
Not
like this.
What's in that closet?
No, but you're right. It's that inspirational role in their respective universes. No matter what happens, no matter how often he puts on a different suit, he'll eventually come back to being Captain America.
Now this is the main Marvel Universe 616 version of him.
Yeah.
Now the Captain America over in the Ultimate Universe
He's a different character.
is a different kind of thing altogether.
He's kind of a jerk.
Yeah, well, the Captain America in the Ultimate Universe, which was started 10 years ago, is a bit more of a jingoistic, nationalistic kind of a character. He is.
Like that word jingo.
And written by a Scotsman.
Well, in the Ultimate books,
Like
Mark
when he was
Miller was the
created.
writer.
Yeah.
He was created. And he's a bit more of an arrogant, aggressive type character, where Steve is,
A flag waver, sort of.
which is interesting because of the World War II veterans I've met. None of them are like that. They're all like Steve. The Ultimate Cap is more of like a modern
Well, the thing.
guy in an old body. Do you know what I'm saying? The
thing-
personality's not right.
Yeah, no, but the thing about Captain America 616 and Ultimate Cap, at least for as far as I could tell, is that Steve Rogers, Avengers #4, when they uncovered him, that was the 60s, and he was a man out of time, but really it was like
Not that far.
it was like 12
It
years.
would be like now if it had been
15
like
years,
oh,
yeah.
he fought in Honduras.
or Panama, or
Yeah.
I mean, it was like 15 years, so it wasn't that much of a gap. Now I understand from 1960
A lot of things changed.
to now, a lot of things changed, but Steve Rogers has evolved with those changes, and
Yep.
he's dealt with Nixon, he's dealt with stuff like that. In the Ultimate Universe, what you had was he got frozen at the end of World War II and uncovered in 2001.
Right.
And what you then had is getting unfrozen to the world that we live in now, and he was just pissed. He
Yeah.
was just like, he missed Glenn Miller, he missed Norman Rockwell, and didn't like all these people, and
He's a grumpy old man.
exactly, yeah. So the mindset was less evolved.
This is the thing is that I don't like the character as in the way that when you read the Marvel Steve Rogers, you're like, I love this guy. He's a great guy.
Yeah, you want
I
to be
don't
his friend. Yeah.
like the character, but I find it very interesting.
He's entertaining. You don't have to like someone
But I like the contrast of what it is. If you're going to tell, I admire that if you're going to tell a different story with a different version,
do it
of
differently.
make him
Yeah,
differently,
yeah.
and I get behind that. That Jason Aaron miniseries was really interesting. I really liked it a lot, and
Yeah.
I don't like that Steve Rogers.
Yeah.
He's annoying.
It's a hard thing for me to wrap my head around a Captain America that I don't like.
Yes.
And that's what the Ultimate Cap is. I don't like as a person.
And that one of the biggest differences is in the look of the characters,
Yeah.
which we're going to tie into the movie in a second. But the Captain America in the Marvel Universe for a long time was very just spandexy.
Chainmail.
But
Spandex drawn like chainmail.
it was
Chainmail
the
Chainmail
chainmail
over spandex.
wasn't emphasized until recently. And it was always there, sort of in the shadow parts,
no,
but
I always knew it was chainmail.
but it-
Like in the 80s, I knew.
but depending on the artist, it was just kind of like it was
Yeah.
drawn like a suit, and he had the big boots and everything.
The red boots and the gloves. Remember the gloves that went
Yes.
to the
The points.
the good gloves.
Yep.
And so Ultimate Cap comes in, and they put him in a much more realistic
Streamlined, yeah.
war costume. He's got a helmet. He's got straps.
Yeah.
He's got a costume that looks like he could actually take into the battlefield, even if he has to be a symbol. And then they started incorporating elements of that into the 616 Cap, where he's got the belt. They give him the army belt. They sort of streamlined the boots and the gloves.
But then in Ultimates, they went back to the spandex because the more recently they got rid of the helmet and it's the headpiece,
Yeah.
and not all the belt is there. It's actually, I've never thought about that. But the placement of stars are different and that sort of thing.
But then, then you see in the film, the design of the costume is much closer to the original Ultimates costume, which is the more functional.
Well, they had some flashbacks to Cap in World War II in the Ultimate Universe, and he had a helmet just with an A painted on it, with the chin strap and stuff like that. And you could see, I mean, again, we talked about this a lot with Iron Man and with Thor and stuff like that. The Marvel comic movies are drawing a lot from the Ultimate Universe, like a lot.
Well, from the trailers, it looks like the story and the character 616 Cap, but the design, the look of the Ultimate Cap.
That's why it's funny. And now we're kind of moving on talking about the movie. In the trailer, when the whole setup of the movie in the trailer and we see Chris Evans made into a scrawny little guy who's in Brooklyn and stuff like that. I mean, I totally in my head, like I'm watching it, and in my head, that's Brubaker and Epting and Marvel's project, and to a T.
Yeah.
Like, it's really kind of creepy.
Yeah.
Like,
but in a really good way. Like,
in a great way.
I saw that skinny little Cap. I mean, it's a creepy image, but in general, but it's so right. Like, and they overdid it. They made it a little cartoony, which I'm cool with.
I think it looks great. I think it looks good. Yeah.
What was interesting is, so we haven't seen the film yet, it's coming out this week, but apparently there's multiple Cap suits.
Yep.
And there's the one that looks like the 616 suit, and there's one that looks more like the old, with the painted helmet one, and there's like the final suit that's more like the ultimate Cap suit.
So there's different way to do it.
Yeah.
You know, one of the really interesting things, if you're taking all the Ultimate stuff was designed now, more or less. So they're taking into account, well, how would this look in the real world, which is something that I don't think Jack Kirby was really thinking about so much.
Not at all.
He was looking at, like, how is this going to look iconic? And it still looks good in comics today, but it's one of those translations where you put that suit in real life, it's going to look kind of weird.
Yeah.
So I understand why they went with and it's, again, you see the image of Chris Evans in that suit, and you're like, boy, that's garish. But that's what red, white, and blue look like, in contrast to Forrest and Army and stuff like that.
Yeah. I gotta say, the trailer really impressed me when we first, was it the Super Bowl where we got our first exposure?
Super Bowl was the
we saw the
30-second teaser.
A glimpse of the Red Skull, we saw a glimpse of the Shield and all stuff. Looks like they got a lot right. They're getting a lot right with this.
Well, Joe Johnston's the director. He did The Rocketeer, which I know you don't love, but it captured from an art direction standpoint, captured that period of time really well. Not the 40s, it was the 20s, right? No, it was leading to the 40s, the 30s, later the 30s. Yeah, because the Nazis were in, I forgot. Yeah. So I think from an art direction standpoint, it really helps to capture the look and feel of a period piece. Yes. Again, like the X-Men that came out earlier, this is a period piece film.
And Brooklyn looks like a lot of it takes place in Brooklyn, like early on before he joins up, and it looks great. I mean, like
I remember when they announced the film, we were like, "Ooh, are they going to make a World War II film?"
Yeah.
And they did.
And that has me very excited.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing that. I mean, Cap and World War II stories are always interesting. I love World War II stories in general. I read books about it. It's one of those areas of interest for me. Yeah. And then Captain America is one of my favorite characters. So to see them actually do that, I thought it was a brave choice.
Yeah, no, totally.
But I think you need it for context for people.
Totally.
For the Avengers movie.
Yeah, and that's the thing. So the Avengers movie's coming out next year, and I'm really curious to see what how they're going to tie this World War II. Like, is it going to end with Cap getting frozen? And is the Avengers movie going to start with them finding him, or is that going to happen in this movie? Like,
it's exciting. No, it's exciting, and because Cap is so tied into the Avengers, and how it all comes together is going to be really interesting.
I got to give Marvel and Marvel Studios and Kevin Feige and all the guys doing it.
Feige.
I never thought I would see this day.
No.
Never thought that we would get multiple movies and they'd have a continuity and they'd be tied in. It's like they're defying the odds of this.
And it's weird because if you look back at like Thor, it felt like not a complete movie on its own,
right?
But a first bit,
right?
Which is a different feeling for a movie. Like I think maybe since Lord of the Rings we can kind of get used to that.
Yep.
But that's what it is. Like, here's a little bit of it. And here, I mean, it had 3 acts. It had a structure. It had a conclusion.
Yeah, it told a story. But
it definitely had that comic book open-endedness that we're so used to reading. And now you're seeing it on something that cost $200 million. Yeah, which is pretty interesting.
Insane.
But I think it's the fact that we have a Captain America film coming out in a big budget, tentpole summer film is bizarre.
Yeah, and Red Skull looks awesome.
It's interesting. I mean, Cap is, to us as comic readers, is such an important character. But what will be really interesting to me will be to see the reaction.
Yeah.
Because it's a character so steeped in America. And we know in these days, half of a film's business is done outside of America now.
Yeah, well, this was filmed in London. I mean, it was filmed in England, the majority of it. So it's like...
Well, that's where World War II was.
Well, sure, good point. Yeah, but even the Brooklyn scenes and stuff like that were all... Yeah.
But, it'll be interesting to see how the reaction will be outside the United States. How it'll be inside the United States.
And then also there's the issue or the debate or whatever, the balance between Nazis and Hydra. Like Hydra is from what we've heard, is featured prominently in it, and that's kind of the safe way to have a villain without having it be Nazis.
Well, the Nazis are in it. They mention Hitler in the trailer. It's just the Hydra is a special, like the branch of the Nazis, and they should be the ones that cap us.
I mean, it's a safe way to go. Like Hydra exists in the comics. Let's use them. That way, we're not singling out Nazis.
And also, then you can use them later. Right, Hydra can still be around.
Yeah, exactly. Although I want to see some Nazis get punched.
I bet you will.
Yeah.
Well, it'd just be German infantry. They weren't necessarily Nazis.
They were.
Well, they were part of.
All right, I was getting hauled into. The throwing the shield in the trailer just looks great. Like
That's
when he catches
really
it,
the key.
like
If you can't, it's just like in the Superman movie. If you can't get him flying and make that look real, if you can't get the shield throw right, like the hammer twirl or the whatever.
Oh, the hammer twirl.
Well, that's a different thing.
I know. Yeah,
sorry,
but the throwing the shield and having it bounce and then the catch.
Because that really is one of those things that is one of the hallmarks of the comic.
It's an iconic part of the character,
and it works really well in comics. If we're looking at it,
but
we've
never think of it working in real life.
Oh boy, there's that one version.
Yeah.
On the bike.
Yeah.
And he waits half an hour and then it comes back and hits.
Yeah. I love that.
See, this is the first. I mean, you may not know this is not the first time. There was 2 TV films in the 70s.
Yep.
Captain America riding a bike. His helmet was a bike helmet.
Yep.
His shield was red, clear, and white. Or blue. One of those. The white was the clear.
Really bad.
Oh, the 70s.
And then there was the one I mentioned earlier in the 90s with
Roger
with he had the rubber ears.
Yeah.
He put the mask on and the mask had ears. It didn't go around his ears. It had ears on the outside of the mask.
That's a bad move.
And he was barely in the costume in the movie, and then the Red Skull was Italian.
Yeah. I forgot about that. The Red Skull.
They were in Axis Power. That's fair game.
It's just
they weren't nearly as organized.
Red Skull, by the way, is one of the great villains.
Yes.
Like probably top 5 great comic book villains, and so that's the right choice to have him in there.
He can run an office like nobody's business.
Guys,
He'll roll up his sleeves when he needs to and get that spreadsheet done.
what do I got to do? We're going to have this meeting, or we're going to chit chat? Because I got kids I want to get back to.
Bob, put the phone down.
Sin.
Oh, middle management, Red Skull, we miss you.
Don't think I don't see you on Facebook.
Sin, I don't see management potential.
Sin's too much of a wild card.
You know what? She's living. You don't know what's going to happen.
Well, to circle back around at the beginning of the show, the Red Skull is not around right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
His
or
daughter.
is he?
Well, he's always lurking. His daughter Sin is the sort of the primary Red Skull right.
Right. She
at
is the
moment.
Red Skull now. Yeah.
The original Red Skull, Johann Schmidt, is not dead because he's not really dead. He's just sort of.
When you've had dealings with the Cosmic Cube, everything after that, all bets are off after that.
Yeah. So if this talk, not this talk, but if you see the film and you think, well, I want to get back into Cap, it's a good month for it. Captain America #1 is out. Ed Brubaker, Steve McNiven.
Yeah. And Ed Brubaker's really owned the character for the past however many, like 6-7 years.
So Marvel's created a jumping on point for you this week.
Yeah, they really have. And not only should you jump on to where Marvel's created for you now, but go back and read the original Captain America, the run that Brubaker did. You mentioned the Winter Soldier stories, some great stories.
The first 25 of that series were one of the best 2-year runs in a comic in the last 10 years.
Yeah.
It falters a bit after Cap dies, but that first issue 25.
Not that there's not good stuff in there.
No, there's good stuff in there.
There
There's
are
definitely,
moments,
but not that sustained 2 years of excellence.
Yeah.
And then there's the Captain America Bucky series, which the old Cap series is becoming. So there's a lot of stuff for you to jump onto now if you're excited again about Cap. And I know a lot of people have gotten off the character in recent years.
Yeah, but now
come back now.
Go to iFanboy.com. We're going to have a post about this episode, and you can argue the merits of Ultimate Cap versus 616 Cap versus Bucky Cap versus the Cap and Steve versus the crazy
Nomad Cap,
Crazy Cap from the 50s. Lots of caps.
John Walker Cap.
Yeah, exactly.
U.S. Agent.
Cap as a werewolf.
Werewolf Cap.
If you're into that, that happened.
Cap?
Werewolf
You're
Cap.
like the big Cap fan. You don't know Werewolf Cap?
I haven't read everything ever.
That was in the Mike Grunwald years.
Great. Those
Werewolf
were
Cap.
great years. Fantastic years.
Kieran Dwyer.
So go to iFanboy.com, and also we're going to have audio podcast where we're talking about the movie. We're going to have a written movie review. All this great Captain America content on iFanboy.com, so go check it out. It's going to be a good week for Cap. Good week for Americans.
But only Americans. Contact at iFanboy.com is our email address, and 888-FANBOY-326-2697 is our voicemail line.
Yes. You can follow us on Twitter, twitter.com/iFanboy, or you can go to our Facebook page at facebook.com/iFanboy.
And it's important to note that Cap does not have a MySpace page still. So
yeah, well, he learned, but the thing was, he wasn't anti-tech. He just knew the future. He knew that MySpace isn't going to matter.
Right, yeah.
He was on Facebook then.
Yeah.
That's what they didn't know.
He's on Friendster.
Yeah.
And he doesn't follow NASCAR. He follows
Baseball.
midget racing.
No, baseball, because
baseball,
when he's a kid, he had to be a Brooklyn Dodgers fan.
So he's clearly a Mets fan now.
Uh-oh.
What would he be?
He'd be a Mets fan. He was National League. If he was a Dodgers fan...
They're not all Mets fans now.
Yeah,
He's from Manhattan.
anyway. Mission accomplished. 616.
You should watch the trailer.
What time, Doctor? What time for love, Dr. Jones?
Wanna watch it?
Let's do it quick. We do it. Go.
You tape us watching the film.